Welcome to the Life Lnxx Podcast, a Latina podcast for the modern cultura. I'm your host, Consuelo Crosby, Peruana, California native, structural engineer, mother, and your amiga for all things Latina. Here we honor the women who navigate multiple cultures, both aquí and allá, and somewhere in between, providing that safe place for you to speak your truth, celebrate la cultura, and find belonging in this comunidad. Join us every Wednesday on your favorite streaming platform to listen to your new amigas as they share their journeys of lessons learned, barriers they overcome, and the joys of living life with pure authenticity. Encuentras your voice and discover the life meant for you. Hola, chicas! Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Felicidades and Feliz Año Nuevo! Woo! I know I said I wouldn't be here if you were listening last episode, but I thought I'd better show up. Just in case you missed that last episode and didn't hear our big news that we're going to talk about again today, just starting off this new year on track, organized, ready to send you down the path of what is going to be just another amazing year for all of us. I hope you had time to rest, to reflect, and to really discover that gratitude in life. No matter what came down the path, life is full of surprises, but I hope you pulled some insights for this new year from it. But like I said, for our subscribers and longtime listeners, you may be doing the head tilt. You may be saying, Consuelo, you were supposed to be on break for a while. And I am. And I appreciate that immensely, but I just couldn't stay away. So for reals, I know I said Life Lnxx would be coming back to you on February 4th of 2024. All the numbers in the 2424. But then I thought it might be a good idea to let our new listeners know that in case they missed our last episode of 2023, our big news. So here's a refresh, a holding spot, so you realize I'm not just ghosting you. After that amazing last episode of 2023, so many connections within the comunidad that were just bridged together in that episode, and that is just from Season 5. That totally helped us realize how much we really are the same. Regardless of our past, or our current day, or what we hold for ourselves in our tomorrows, we come down to this beautiful core of Latinidad. And it's just so much fun. It can be painful. It can be frustrating. It could be isolating. But here where it's purely the Latina narrative, it is so much fun. So today is just a reminder of the big Gigante news that we shared in our last episode. So are you ready for this? Coming at you on February 4th is our next version, the next generation of the Life Lnxx Podcast. And here's where you would get a drum roll, or if I could roll my R's, then at least you'd get the audio version. But starting February 4th, in this new year, we are expanding this podcast to account for the immense growth of our comunidad. So many new listeners, so much to talk about, so much to read about, so much to learn from each other, and have more opportunity to meet these women who are really life-changing. So with all that newness, with all that expansive growth, of course we need a new name. So on February 4th, you will be listening to Encuentras Your Voice Podcast. Now you've heard me say it at the end of our episodes for a bit now. And it just happily struck a chord with a lot of people. But why change the name, right? We could have left it at Life Lnxx Podcast, Life Lnxx Podcast Gone Big, Life Lnxx Podcast 2.0. But changing the name is really important for two reasons. One, Encuentras Your Voice is really a call to action for our entire comunidad to feel free to speak their truth and create this true Latina narrative. Not the narrative told on other platforms needing Hispanic or Latina content. Not the narrative about only your business or leadership thoughts for Hispanic Latina Heritage Month. No. This is our narrative where we chat like hermanas because we just get it. It continues to be the safe and compassionate space to listen to your journey, to feel belonging in a community that will nod along and say, eso, or be able to just start crying and not have to explain why. And give those snaps for the story that is thumping along in your head, but you don't have a place to let it out. Maybe not even within your own family. So, encuentras your voice. Discover your voice to share your truth, because if we don't share our stories, no one else will. We know that. Our history, especially as women, is lost behind that steel door of past media companies run by those who are not interested, do not understand, or only want to personally benefit from our stories. Encuentras your voice encourages you to find the strength to share your story and feel the freedom of no longer holding it in because no one is listening. We are listening, and remind everyone that if we don't listen to each other's stories, then we can't complain when we don't see representation out there in the world. And for our listeners, who we would not have any purpose without, I would just be here, like in the beginning episodes, talking into a black hole of a microphone and very few people listening. We offer the opportunity to meet women from around the world, a chance to make new friends, to learn from others' experiences, and most importantly, to feel connected to others who know exactly what it's like to walk 2 or more cultures in one life, to help our parents navigate the society, or worse yet, do it ourselves on our own and still laugh. Laugh with the craziness that is our journey here in a culture that is new to our ancient DNA. Now, what's the second reason we are changing the podcast name to Encuentras Your Voice? Because we are now part of an even larger platform, Encuentras Media, a media company that will amplify your voice and presence to our immense comunidad, nurture relationships that could be personal and business, and be a source to discover a new world of women who can change your life, walk with you on your true path, and celebrate the joy that is our cultura. Unedited, unapologetically, and no explanation needed, because we just get it. So coming on February 4th, 2024, is our next generation, Encuentras Your Voice Podcast, a branch of the media company, Encuentras Media, to amplify our Latina narrative and be a valuable source for our comunidad to discover yourself and each other and feel a powerful sense of belonging. So join in the celebration that is our Latina comunidad. Feeling motivated now? Want to share your story? Then hop over to our Life Lnxx Podcast Instagram profile, because we won't switch until when? February 4th. But for now, click on our link tree in our Instagram profile at Life Lnxx Podcast and schedule a chat session with me, or reach out directly to me via email at consuelo@lifelinx.com so we can have a chance to chat. Because I want all of this to be done in person. I love the podcasting. I love doing the remote chats because people live all over the world. However, I would just love to be in person. And thankfully, I have met so many of you in person, in your hometowns, and feel like you're going to just be friends for life. It is always a good time. And when you listen to our episodes, that's exactly what you hear. At the end of each episode, our guests just joyfully shout out, "Wow, that was more fun than I thought." Exactly. This isn't your interview. Let's just sit down and have a good time and give you the space to share your truth, your authentic self, away from the confines of what you should say. And to you, the amazing listeners who have been poking me to get more in front of the camera, I hear you and totally appreciate your encouragement. You are exactly who I need to become the true version of myself behind this microphone, in a room all by myself. I just operate so much better in person than in front of this empty lens. So thank you. Thank you. I needed the push. It will happen. So let's start this new year off with the intent of being heard, being seen and celebrated for who you are, and amplifying the voice of our comunidad unedited. In all its love and hilarity, it's the absolute best. Encuentras your voice for real. Coming February 4th on all your favorite streaming platforms like Spotify. And step into your truth, ladies. Ciao. Really appreciate the time you take to rate and review the podcast. Get the backstory and what you've heard here today and reach out on our website at lifelnx.com. That's LNXX, because it's about time, it's about us. Stay in the groove on our social media at Life Lnxx and get ready to make your move, ladies. Viva!